We just start talking. Kenyatta International Convention Center, well, day 2 of the COMESA Summit 2025. And on this particular date, we're going to be talking about a high-level dialogue on matters business. Areas of focus include smart agriculture and value chain competitiveness, digitalization of trade and investment promotion, as well as digital transformation in logistics and movement of business persons. What you can currently see on your screens are delegates who are already in the main hall for this morning's session. That is a Savo hall here. Some of the areas we're going to be talking about: policy brain of the summit, that is day 2, expected to define what digital integration will look like for the COMESA's next decade. Smart agriculture sessions link climate smart innovation and industrial value chains. Now let's have a listen in to what is happening at the hall with the national anthem.
COMESA, forward with COMESA. COMESA is key to prosperity.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Kindly, we may take our seats. Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Kithure Kindiki, Your Excellency, Dr. Hassan Kibea, Chairperson, COMESA Council of Minister, Burundi, Honorable Lee Kinyanjui, the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industrial in Kenya, Your Excellency, Chileshe Kapwepwe, COMESA Secretary General, distinguished ambassadors present, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me now to invite Ms. Betty Kiptum and Mr. Kimani Warui to take over the program.
Distinguished guest, our chief guest, His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Kithure Kindiki, and all the other guests, good morning and thank you very much for joining us this morning. We want to welcome you to the COMESA Business Forum and High-Level Dialogue. My name is O'Brien Kimani. I work with the Great Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. I just want to remind you that we are live on Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, and we have always been live since we started this meeting on Monday, and my colleague here is Betty Kiptum.
Thank you, O'Brien. My name is Betty Kiptum. I am also a colleague of O'Brien Kimani at Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, and indeed it is an honor to be part of the Director of Ceremonies for this event. Your Excellency, Professor Kithure Kindiki, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency, COMESA Secretary General Chileshe Kapwepwe, all protocols observed. We would like to begin the program with inviting Kenya's Principal Secretary in charge of State Department for Trade, that is Ms. Regina Ombam, to give us her welcoming remarks. Let's give her a round of applause as she joins us. Karibu.
Karibu sana, Madam PS.
Your Excellency, Professor Kithure Kindiki, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and our guest of honor, Honorable Lee Kinyanjui, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry, His Excellency Dr. Hassan Kibeya, Chairperson, COMESA Council of Ministers, and Minister for Mining, Energy, Industry, Commerce and Tourism, Republic of Burundi, distinguished ministers and heads of delegation, Her Excellency Chileshe Mpundu Kapwepwe, Secretary General COMESA, Mr. James Chimwaza, President COMESA Business Council, captains of industry, development partners, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the 18th COMESA Business Forum and Exhibition in Nairobi, Kenya. Karibuni, Kenya. Kenya hakuna matata. We are delighted to have our chief guest, Professor Kindiki Kithure, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, whose presence here adds immense value to our business forum. We are indeed privileged to host this important business forum that brings together policymakers, the private sector, development partners, and innovators to chart the future of trade and investment in our region and beyond. This year's theme, leveraging digitalization to deepen regional chains for sustainable and inclusive growth, captures the essence of our collective task. With a market of over 680 million people, COMESA has enormous potential. Yet to unlock it, we must harness digital technologies to enhance productivity, deepen value chains, and strengthen competitiveness across our economies. So this forum provides a unique opportunity for us to examine practical solutions from smart agriculture and digital trade facilitation to efficient logistics and greater mobility of business persons across the region. The recommendations that emerge will form the COMESA Business Declaration to be presented to the 24th COMESA Summit of Heads of State and Government, ensuring that our deliberations today have a direct policy impact. Distinguished delegates, I urge you to engage actively, forge new partnerships, and take full advantage of this platform. Together, we can lay the foundation for a more resilient, inclusive, and competitive COMESA. With these remarks, I once again warmly welcome you to Nairobi and wish you productive discussions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam PS, for welcoming all of us to this meeting. I just want to remind you that all of us, we are at home. Kenya is the cradle of mankind. It is widely known that. And so feel free, because this is where we all started, and this is where we all belong. And at this point, I just want you to get your phone and tell somebody that you are in a meeting with the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. And you need to tell, especially your cousins, that you are here. And they need to tune in to KBC, because occasionally they are going to see you. And I can confirm that you are all looking very, very good today. And so, as we congregate here to discuss our issues and our affairs as COMESA, it is with profound joy I seek to invite Mr. Hitesh Medirata, the Vice Chairperson of the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, to come and address this forum. Let's put our hands together as we welcome Mr. Medirata. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Kithure Kindiki, Honorable Ministers present, distinguished delegates, fellow business leaders, and development partners, good morning. It is a pleasure to honor and to represent the Kenya Association of Manufacturers at this important COMESA forum. I extend my sincere appreciation to the COMESA Secretariat and the COMESA Business Council, in close collaboration with Kenya's Ministry of Investments in Trade and Industry, for convening this platform, which reinforces the importance of regional collaboration, trade integration, and private sector engagement. Allow me to begin by highlighting who we are as Kenya Association of Manufacturers. CAM is a business member organization representing value-add companies and associated services in Kenya. At the core of our mission is our purpose: creating prosperity for the nation through sustainable industrialization. Established in 1959, CAM represents over 1,300 members who are grouped into 14 sectors. CAM has also regional presence in 7 strategic areas across the country to drive county-driven advocacy initiatives. We are at the forefront in driving fact-based policy advocacy towards the formation of industrial policies that strengthen and support the country's economic development. We promote trade and investment and encourage the formulation, enactment, and administration of sound policies that private ecosystem finances infrastructure, boosts trade, improves market access, and facilitates policy alignment to build prosperous, interconnected regions. The importance of collaboration between private sector and the regional blocs. COMESA is one of Kenya's key markets and a significant source of raw materials. Overall, Africa accounts about 42% of Kenya's export market. COMESA makes up 11% of this, behind the East African community, which makes up 30%, and the rest of Africa at just 1%. It's worth noting that all EAC members, except one, are also members of COMESA, making both regional blocs vital to Kenya's economy. This highlights the need for us to strengthen our ability to source goods from within COMESA. By increasing the current 11% sourcing from African markets, we can significantly boost intra-COMESA trade. Looking ahead, the TFTA, which unites the EAC, COMESA, and SADC, are expected to play a crucial role in addressing the challenges of overlapping memberships, while also expanding the opportunities of Kenya and other COMESA members to benefit more from regional integration. Manufacturing is central to economic transformation across COMESA members. Here in Kenya, the sector contributes to employment, value addition, and regional exports. At CAM, we strongly believe that industrialization is the engine for inclusive growth, and we are committed to deepening our role and driving sustainable, competitive manufacturing across the region. This is why we actively participate in regional and international engagements such as these, and it presents us with a unique opportunity to engage other countries and businesses and develop strategies to leverage shared markets, harmonize policies, and collective industrial strategies. Our participation is driven by Kenya's position as a manufacturing hub in the region and a key player in COMESA. However, there still lies immense potential within the region, which boasts a population of 560 million people and 780 billion in GDP, that's in dollars. This includes EAC's population and GDP. Intra-COMESA trade is still low. It currently stands at 14%. Regrettably, we are trading more with non-COMESA countries than we are within ourselves. It is imperative for us to leverage opportunities to develop regional value chains in both manufacturing and in agro-processing. Additionally, there is a high concentration of similar product lines across COMESA region, predominantly at the finished state level. Herein lies the opportunities to create diversity through backward and forward integration that enables us not only to trade in raw and finished materials, but also in intermediary products. We also have an opportunity to tap into the emerging industries, including renewable energy technology, circular economy, and digital manufacturing. Fortunately, COMESA has been a seamless trading bloc for Kenyan manufacturers with minimal market access challenges. Nevertheless, we still face some bottlenecks which hamper the growth of intra-COMESA trade, which can be resolved by taking deliberate measures to reduce the cost of doing business while enhancing the ease of doing business. A resolution of persistent trade barriers. Even though COMESA has a small number of non-trade barriers, the existing ones, such as those touching on edible oils and dairy, have taken over 10 years to resolve. Colleagues, and I think this is an important emerging issue, we are increasingly seeing new barriers to trade through introduction of domestic taxes and levies, particularly excise duties on intermediary and raw materials. In some cases, these taxes are even being applied to imports from within our own COMESA region. While such measures may be driven by well-intentioned local policy objectives, they distort regional markets, go against the spirit of the free trade area, they disrupt supply chains, raise production costs, and discourage cross-border trade and investment. Ultimately, they weaken the very integration we have all worked so hard to achieve. If left unchecked, these protectionist actions could invite retaliation and undo years of progress. And if carried forward into new frameworks, such as the tripartite TFTA and the AFCFTA, they will stall progress and prevent these agreements from achieving their goals of a truly unified African market. I urge all member states to align their domestic tax policies with our regional commitments and to exclude such measures from future trade frameworks. Let us preserve the integrity of COMESA and ensure our free trade areas remain truly free. The average double-digit interest rates in the region are also too high to support the manufacturing sector, which is capital intensive. Most manufacturers' projects are long-term investments requiring affordable and patient capital. Not all all member states are members of COMESA. As Africa moves towards the implementation of AFCFTA, it would be strategic to ensure that COMESA countries take advantage of the already existing markets within themselves. This calls for COMESA to rally all her members to liberalize their markets under COMESA Free Trade Area. As I conclude, COMESA presents an immense opportunity for Kenya's manufacturing sector, not just as a market, but as a partner in building a more integrated, self-sustaining regional economy. As the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, we recognize that stronger regional value chain, harmonized standards, and improved trade facilitation are not just aspirations, but necessities. To fully harness the potential of COMESA, we must all collaborate, governments, private sector, and development partners alike, to remove barriers, align policies, and unlock investments that drive industrial growth. Let us move forward with a shared commitment to building a competitive and resilient manufacturing sector powered by regional cooperation and innovation. COMESA is our platform for progress. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Hitesh Medirata, that is the Vice Chairperson at the Kenya Association of Manufacturers. And of course, for intra-COMESA trade to be enhanced, the manufacturing sector must be supported. I am sure in all the positions that you sit in, there is something that you can do to remove a trade barrier and enhance trade. So I would like us to say, removing barriers, enhancing trade. Let's say that together. Removing barriers, enhancing trade. Again, removing barriers, enhancing trade. Thank you very much. I hope you remember that after the summit as you go back to your offices. That is the goal. I would now like to take this opportunity to welcome Mr. James Chimwaza, who is the president of the COMESA Business Council, to address this forum. Let's give him a round of applause and welcome to the stage.
Your Excellency, Professor Kithure Kindiki, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya and Chief Guest, Your Excellency Dr. Hassan Kibeya, Chairperson of COMESA Council of Ministers, Burundi, Your Honor Lee Kinyajui, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Investment, Trade and Industry, Kenya, Honorable Ministers, Cabinet Secretaries from COMESA member states, Your Excellency, Madam Chileshe Mpundu Kapwepwe, COMESA Secretary General, I'll skip myself, Dean of Ambassadors, Permanent Secretaries and Principal Secretaries, representatives of government institutions, heads of institutions, heads of COMESA institutions, representatives of our cooperating partners, the European Union, the Federation of German Industries, BDI, AGRA, Chairperson of the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, CEOs of business associations and captains of the industry, members of the diplomatic corps here present, members of the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to add all protocols observed because everybody here looks distinguished and deserving of recognition. Good morning. Good morning to you all. Thank you. At least we are engaging. Your Excellencies, distinguished Head of State, honorable ministers, and esteemed delegates, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of COMESA Business Council, it is my privilege to welcome you to the 18th COMESA Business Forum and Exhibition. We gather in Nairobi at the heart of COMESA Digital Innovation Hub to advance a transformative agenda that will reshape how we produce, trade, and synergize in an increasingly interconnected world. I kind of skipped the word compete to synergize because the demands out there are greater than what we can produce, so we will not be competing, we'll be synergizing to meet the demand that is beyond Africa, to the north, to the west, and to the east. So we should be synergizing to grow, starting from within Africa. Please allow me to extend our deepest gratitude to His Excellency, Professor Kithure Kindiki, Deputy President of Kenya, and Honorable Lee Kinyajui, the government of Kenya for hosting this landmark forum. Kenya's leadership in digital innovation, from the mobile money revolution to e-government services, makes it the ideal venue for our dialogue on leveraging digitalization to deepen regional value chains. Also, allow me to appreciate our COMESA Secretary General, Her Excellency Chileshe Mpundu Kapwepwe, and the COMESA institutions for their continued partnership and collaboration towards private sector development. I further acknowledge the dedicated CBC staff for the work they have put into organizing this forum. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, since our establishment, the COMESA Business Council has served as an institutional voice of the private sector with our common market. Over 16 years of operations, we have fulfilled Article 18 of the COMESA Treaty, creating a vital forum where policy meets practice and regional aspirations are tested against business imperatives. This annual business forum has evolved into the premier platform for public public-private dialogue in the COMESA region and beyond. Today, we bring together over 1,000 participants representing the full spectrum of our regional economy, from multinational corporations to micro enterprises, from traditional sectors to digital pioneers. I wish here to thank our partners and sponsors for making this possible. We will continue to rely on your support to fulfill our mandate. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, reflecting on the 17th COMESA Business Forum held in Bujumbura, we must acknowledge both achievements as well as shortcomings. This honesty or openness is the foundation of effective action. This past year has witnessed significant progress in digital trade facilitation. The launch of the electronic certificate of origin system in Eswatini, Malawi, and Zambia represents a breakthrough. This system enables businesses to obtain certificates in hours rather than days or weeks, directly enhancing competitiveness. Financial innovation. Through CBC's partnership with High People Foundation, we hosted the Women in FinTech Hackathon and 40-day FinTech initiative across Zambia and Malawi. Over 150 women-led teams participated, showcasing innovations, redefining financial inclusion, and democratizing access to capital. Capacity building. With EU technical assistance facility and World Customs Organization support, we delivered an AFCFTA and rules of origin training across all 8 Francophone member states, reaching over 300 officials and business leaders. Our training of trainers program ensures sustainable capacity building. Sectoral progress. Our tourism, travel, and retail duty-free work group actively enhanced regional collaboration and service quality. Our manufacturer work groups continues advocating for reduced non-tariff barriers and improved industrial competitiveness. Our newly created innovation and technology work groups is exploring new technological breakthroughs that can reduce trading costs in the COMESA region, facilitate trade, increase connectivity, and address some of the challenges that the region faces and has faced for many years past. However, we must confront reality that 3.6% decline in intra-COMESA trade in 2024 from 14.2 billion to 13.7 billion represents lost opportunities. Behind these statistics are real entrepreneurial struggling to access finance, farmers and manufacturers unable to compete due to infrastructure constraints, interest rates ranging the gap between billions available in regional banks and millions actual reaching SMEs remain unbridged. We lose an estimated 20 to 30% of agricultural output to post-harvest losses, largely to border delays, inadequate refrigeration chain infrastructure. Structures carrying perishables can spend 3 to 7 days at border points, reducing competitiveness, while urban centers enjoy advanced connectivity. Vast rural areas where most agricultural production occurs lacks basic internet access and digital connectivity. Can I have some water? Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's theme calls us to leverage digitalization to deepen regional value chain. From business perspective, digital transformation delivers tangible, measurable benefits. Cost reduction, digital trade documentation reduces processing costs by 30 to 50%. E-payment systems eliminate cash transactions costs and risks. Supply chain visibility platforms reduce inventory carrying costs by 15 to 20%. Market access. E-commerce platforms enable small producers to reach distant customers. Digital marketing allows manufacturers to compete internationally without prohibiting physical presence costs. Efficiency gains. Internet of Things sensors in agricultural increases yields by 10 to 30% while reducing water usage by 20 to 40%. Digital logistics platforms reduce delivery times by 25% and fuel consumption by 15%. Financial inclusion. Mobile money and digital lending have brought financial services to over 150 million previously unbanked Africans, enabling lenders to assess risk for borrowers without traditional credit history. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, agriculture employs 70% of population and contributes 40% to regional GDP. Yet, we import food we could produce ourselves. Digital agriculture offers solutions. Precision agriculture. Satellite imagery and drone technology enables farmers to monitor crop health and optimize resource use. Companies like Apollo Agriculture in Kenya demonstrates how mobile platforms provide smallholder farmers with tailored financing, insurance, and agronomic advice. Market intelligence. Digital platforms provide real-time demand and price information, enabling information selling decisions and reducing information symmetry. Supply chain traceability. Blockchain enables end-to-end traceability, accessing premium markets demanding verifiable sustainability credentials. Digital trade solutions, including electronic certificates, digital payment systems, and single-window platforms can reduce transaction times by 50% and cost by up to 30%, while enabling MSMEs to conduct cross-border trade as seamlessly as domestic transactions. Complementing these systems, digital logistics tools such as real-time cargo tracking, coordinated digital corridors, and e-freight platform can cut transit times by 30 to 40% and optimize vehicle utilization, reducing the estimated 40% of empty truck movement across the region. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, over the next 2 years, we will engage in a substantive discussion across key sessions, boosting agriculture productivity through smart agriculture, breaking barriers through trade and investment digitalization, and enhancing trade through digital transformation of logistics and transport. These deliberations will form the COMESA Business Forum Declaration for presentation to the 24th Summit of Heads of State and Government on October the 9th. Past declarations have driven policy reforms and infrastructure investments. This year must be even more ambitious and actionable. but declarations without implementation are hollow. True success will be measured in business gaining market access, farmers' increased incomes, youth finding meaningful employment, and entrepreneurs building successful entrepreneurs. In closing, distinguished delegates, the future of COMESA will be built through genuine partnership, where public policy creates enabling environments, private enterprise drives innovation, development partners provide catalytic support, and civil society ensures inclusive outcomes with the corporate and not individual mindset set right. We must think corporate, and not me, myself, and I. Then we will grow. As a result, business leaders embrace digital transformation as key opportunity, invest in digital capabilities, partners with startups, mentor young entrepreneurs. Government representatives create enabling environment for digital business, streamlining regulatory regulations to impending innovation, investing in digital infrastructure, and honor visa facilitation commitments. Development partners support initiatives delivering measurable impact, prioritizing sustainable capacity building, support scaling of proven innovations. Technology and innovators develop solutions addressing real business challenges in the context of appropriate for infrastructure. This forum, the forum's theme, leveraging digitalization to deepen regional value chains for sustainable and inclusive growth, is not aspirational rhetoric. It is a roadmap for transformation and innovation to bold action and commitment to leave no one behind. Let us use these 2 days to build partnerships, challenge assumptions, and commit to concrete actions. When we gather next year, we must point to measurable progress on every commitment made here. Together, let us build a COMESA that is digitally connected, economically vibrant, and socially inclusive. Together, let us transform declarations into results, aspirations into achievements. I wish you productive deliberations, fruitful networking, and impactful outcome. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us put another round of applause to the President of COMESA Business Council, James Chimwanza. I'm being reminded that we employ the KEYS principle when we are making our speeches, and KEYS stands for keep it short and sweet. That is the KEYS principle, because the chief guest is expected to leave for another official engagement at some point. When the architects of COMESA ratified the agreement back in 1994, the idea was to integrate the community into a major economic as well as socio-political movement. And today, when you look at COMESA, which is made up of 21 countries, with a population of more than 600 people, if it was to be a country, it would be the third biggest country in terms of population in the world. In terms of economic, COMESA would be the 14th largest economy in the world. And so there is force in numbers. I also want to remind you that we are live on Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, chief guest, allow me to welcome Mr. Admasu Tedese, President of the Trade Development Bank. Welcome, sir, on stage. Let's put our hands together for Mr. Tedese.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies, Your Excellency, Professor Kithure Kindiki, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency Chileshi Kapwepwe, Secretary General of COMESA, Dr. Hassan Kibeya, Chairperson of the COMESA Council of Ministers, and on that note, allow me, Excellencies, to align myself with the excellent salutations given by the previous speaker, Mr. James Chimwaza, all protocols observed. I will try to keep it very sweet and simple, as I have been advised, but just to give you a few words about who TDB Group is, you have specific reason to feel ownership and pride in this particular COMESA institution that we are. TDB Group is actually a financial institution that was formed by the Treaty of COMESA, actually PTA prior to COMESA's forming itself, and we are celebrating 40 years this year. And the reason I'm saying you should be proud, Excellencies, is in these 40 years, this financial institution of yours has achieved something significant. They say numbers speak the truth. In these 40 years, we have disbursed and issued guarantees in the amount of $58 billion since our inception. This $58 billion track record began from very humble beginnings when COMESA, 40 years ago, in the form of PTA, pulled together a number of member states as the founding members of our financial institution. They gathered $10 million and believed in the possibility of COMESA having a specialized financial institution that can begin responding to all the imperatives and the gaps in financing we've heard from the previous speakers. Today, we have a balance sheet of $10 billion. Of that $10 billion, $2 billion is our own equity from different African shareholders and friends of Africa. The other $8 billion on our balance sheet of $10 billion is leveraged capital from friends of TDB, friends of COMESA, friends of Africa, both within Africa, the Gulf region, Asia, Europe, the world at large. So when we talk about partnerships in COMESA, I wanted you to know that we live it, we practice it, we are bringing the fruits of partnership to the region, and we have brought to bear facilities that have really made an important difference in the landscape of our region. Here in Kenya alone, just in one member state, we have a track record of $1.8 billion of financing to many different sectors. The trade sector, agribusiness, healthcare, hospitals, very long list, but also very much the private sector. And for those who don't know how we work as TDB, we work very closely with the financial institutions in our member states. So here in Kenya, we count at least 5 banks here as partners who we co-finance and sometimes finance through them. The KCBs of this world, Equity Bank, and there's several others. The same applies to another 25 African member states who are the membership of TDB Group. The reason I'm pointing all of this out is partnership is the magic that makes us effective. In the different member states, we do that not just with banks, we do it with pension funds. We've managed to take very seriously this idea of unleashing African capital, multiplying African capital, making African capital work much better than it ever has. We've heard our leadership, heads of state, number of countries. Indeed, here, His Excellency President Ruto has often talked about the global financial architecture, the challenges of financing, and we know that we're in an age where African countries, African enterprises need to rely more and more on African banks, African financial institutions. We are one of them. We take our mission very seriously. We're very proud that COMESA had the foresight, the vision. 40 years ago when we were established, not having any idea that we would mushroom into what we have today, where we are now an effective strategic partner of major global financial institutions who see us as credible intermediaries to bring large-scale financing to the region. Just to give you a sense of what large-scale financing means, Turkana Wind Power Project, the Menengai Geothermal Power Project here, the Standard Gauge Railway Project of Tanzania, multi-billion-dollar project. In Mozambique, the offshore LNG projects. So many hospitals across countries. We have been part and parcel of many transformational projects over the years. And this is really the story of COMESA as much as it is TDB. And we thought we would take the occasion at this opening session of the Business Forum to tell the private sector here that we are open, ready, willing, and able to support you in your growth plans. Of course, we are a merit-based financial institution, so there's no guarantees. You have to be good for the credit. We are a rated institution, so of course we work on very professional terms. But just to let you know that there's a lot of capacity. We now have facilities that are dedicated to supporting projects even in the public-private partnership space. Some of you will know there's a very exciting initiative called Mission 300, where Chileshi, myself, and others are joining forces with the World Bank Group and the AFDB to electrify 300 million Africans in this part of Eastern and Southern Africa. A large gap is here in terms of financing, and we have close to $1 billion of credit facilities, long-term, quite affordable in the current context of interest rates in the world, but still affordable, and quite patient money that can go as far as 15 to 20 years. So we are very capable, we've got a lot of capacity, and just to let you know that your financial institution has matured to the point where we now have credit ratings across a number of important African jurisdictions, but also in money centers across the world. Historically, it was always London. Now we've built on our success stories in Europe to go to Asia. And this year, on our 40th anniversary, we got our first ever credit ratings in Japan and in China. In Japan, we got an A- rating. In China, we got a AAA rating. Here in Kenya, we have a AAA rating. In the Republic of Mauritius, which is the headquarters of the group, we also have a AAA rating. So all of this is to tell you that intermediation is based on ratings and quality, and you can be proud of your financial institution that has come a long way. But I would love for all of you to take one message back home, apart from the private sector that's here. The sovereigns who own this institution are the owners, and they have to treat it with the pride and the respect that it deserves. And so on that note, please do tell all of the stakeholders in your country that this is an institution worth protecting, because we provide a lot of support to the economies of COMESA. And on that note, I thank you all very much for your attention. I hope it was short and sweet enough. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Of course, trade is the movement of goods and people, and the financing sector cannot be ignored in the role they play to ensure that infrastructure is enhanced, countries are connected, people can move, goods can move. Yesterday, during the COMESA EU Horticulture Connect, there is someone who said it is cheaper and easier to move produce from the COMESA region, any country, pick any country, to the EU region, as opposed to moving it from, say, Kenya to Tanzania or DRC. So connectivity is very important. Thank you very much for your thoughts there. Now we move on to the next guest, and I would like to now invite the COMESA Secretary General, who is Chileshe Mpunda Kapwepwe. Karibu sana, and let's give her a round of applause. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Director of Ceremonies. Your Excellency, Professor Kithure Kindiki, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and our chief guest, Excellency Dr. Hassan Kibeya, Chairperson of COMESA Council of Ministers from Burundi, Honorable Lee Kinyanjui, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Investment, Trade and Industry of Kenya, Honorable Ministers present, Mr. James Chamwaza, President of CBC, the Dean of Ambassadors and members of the Diplomatic Corps, kindly allow me to ride on established protocols. Good morning. Before I start my speech, I always tell the president of TDB that every time he stands up to talk about the bank and its achievements, I always feel like a very proud parent at a graduation. It shows the foresight of the forefathers who established COMESA, that they did not only establish COMESA, but they went further to establish institutions which would play in the market and support the mandate of COMESA. So like TDB, we have CBC, which is a private sector arm, which is also bringing you together today. So COMESA is very diverse and indeed plays directly into the market. Your Excellency, Chief Guest, I would like to say karibu. Good morning, and it's a real honor and privilege for me to address you today at the 18th COMESA Business Forum. This important public-private dialogue brings together COMESA Business Council and the wider business community, policymakers, COMESA institutions, and partners to jointly deliberate and chart innovative pathways to sustainable growth and enhanced collaboration across the region. I extend my special thanks to you, Your Excellency, for gracing this occasion, and for the government of Kenya for hosting this important series of meetings that we are holding over the next few days. These Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the theme for this 18th COMESA Business Forum is leveraging digitalization to deepen regional value chains for sustainable and inclusive growth. Our discussions will explore how digitalization can transform business practices, boost productivity, connect markets, and create opportunities for all, particularly marginalized groups, including MSMEs, women, and youth. The forum aims to generate actionable recommendations for the COMESA Business Declaration 2025, which will be presented to our heads of state and government at the summit being held here in Nairobi on the 9th of October. We anticipate concrete proposals on digital infrastructure, investment, regulatory harmonization frameworks, innovative financing mechanism for SMEs, and strategic partners that will accelerate our digital transformation agenda. In addition, just listening to the representative from the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, a number of pertinent issues have already been raised, which I feel should form part of that declaration, to bring to the attention to the heads of state the number of challenges and bottlenecks being experienced by the private sector, and which should be addressed at that level. Because sometimes, as we all know, it's only political will that will remove some of these constraints. Our forum discussions will focus on 4 critical areas: agricultural productivity, digital trade and investment promotion, and business mobility. Distinguished delegates, COMESA has developed a robust suite of digital tools that are revolutionizing regional trade and integration. We have consistently supported integrated border management systems, smart border technologies, including the regional customs guarantee, the digital yellow card system, which ensures efficient issuance and verification across 13 countries, while our regional payment and settlement system, REPS, process is increasing transaction values across its member states. Most recently, COMESA launched the Electronic Certificate of Origin program, which was launched in Eswatini, Malawi, Zambia, and very recently, only a few days ago, launched right here in Kenya. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Building on our established digital foundation, COMESA continues strengthening private sector development through strategic partnership with the CBC and targeted initiatives that address critical regional needs. Our regional food balance sheet initiative, implemented in partnership with key stakeholders and supported by AGRA, now provides reliable, near real-time data across 10 countries, addressing critical information gaps for policy and investment decisions. We are advancing business mobility through our COMESA Business Visa Scheme, leveraging on ICT capabilities, while strengthening the pharmaceutical sector through the African Development Bank partnership focused on local manufacturing capacity. The Digital Finance Inclusion Project has reached a crucial development phase, with the COMESA Clearinghouse playing an extended role in establishing the digital retail payment platform for MSMEs. Ladies and gentlemen, running alongside our high-level dialogue, we are hosting 2 interconnected events that exemplify our commitment to practical business outcomes. The COMESA Multi-Sectoral Trade Exhibition from 7 to 9 October showcases flagship regional products and services and innovations across multiple sectors, serving as a dynamic marketplace for promoting business linkages and investment partnerships. Complementing this, the COMESA EU Horticulture Connect seminar, which was held on yesterday, brought together European buyers from Netherlands, Germany, France, and Italy with COMESA horticultural producers, creating direct pathways for our agriculture exporters to access international markets. This strategic pairing of the exhibition and buyer-supplier platform demonstrates how we are translating our policy actions into tangible economic opportunities that strengthen our integration with global value chains. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I wish to commend the efforts of the COMESA institutions in supporting the hosting of this forum. CBC, the Trade Development Bank, the COMESA Court of Justice, the Alliance for Commodity Trade in Eastern and Southern Africa, ACTESA, COMESA Reinsurance Company, ZEPRI, Africa Trade and Investment Development Insurance Agency, ATIDI, COMESA Federation of Women in Business, Africa Leather and Leather Products Institute, Yellow Card, COMESA Clearinghouse, COMESA Monetary Institute, COMESA Competition Commission, and the COMESA Regional Investment Agency, RIA, which collaboration continues to amplify the length and depth of COMESA's collective impact. The COMESA Business Forum provides a crucial platform for aligning public and private sector strategies, sharing successful and digital agriculture models, and creating the enabling environment for our social adaptation of transformative technologies across the region. Public-private dialogue has always been at the center of our strategies and inclusive approaches. Last year, we successfully hosted the 17th COMESA Business Forum in Bujumbura, and outcomes were presented to the 23rd Summit of the Heads of State. We are looking forward to a similar presentation of this declaration, of this business forum, which shall be presented on Thursday to the summit. This will really reinforce the matter that we cannot move forward on policy alone. We do need the participation and engagement of the private sector. I wish you all a fruitful deliberations, and I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Secretary General for COMESA, Her Excellency Chilese Mpundu Kapwepwe. Ladies and gentlemen, time now to welcome the Cabinet Secretary in the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry from Kenya, Honorable Lee Kenyanjui, to address us. Let's put our hands together for the Minister.
Thank you. Thank you. Allow me to take this opportunity first to acknowledge Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, for honoring our invite and also participating in this very important session. We acknowledge that the business forum is a critical component of the COMESA, because as government, we may have the best policies, but at the end of the day, we need the business people and the associations to make the connections and to make the region work. So we really want to salute you for making time to open this session. The Secretary General of COMESA, Chileshe Kapwepwe, the Chairperson of the Council of Ministers, Dr. Hassan Kibea, development partners who are present here, distinguished representatives from the private sector, and the Chairperson of the Council of Business, Mr. James Chimwanza, upon whom I want to borrow all the protocols that you observed. I think his was the most extensive one. And thank you very much for being here. So it is our profound honor first to hold this summit, and also to confirm that it comes at a time when both trade and investments are facing quite some turbulence. And I say this in recognition of the fact that when you look at global trade today, there are so many uncertainties, from wars across other parts of the world to tariffs that have made international trade more unpredictable and sometimes unstable. And one of the areas that have been cited as possible solutions for stabilizing that is actually regional trade. At COMESA, we're at about 14% intra-COMESA trade, a number which we acknowledge is way below our potential. And I think our conversations today must revolve around what we must do to make it possible for goods from Tanzania to come to Kenya, of Kenya to Zambia. And I think that conversation must not only be academic. We must go to the real issues that continue to hamper trade between ourselves. Not too long ago, His Excellency Yoweri Museveni, the President of Uganda, visited Kenya. And I think in their conversation with our President, the issue of the time it takes to cross the border from Kenya to Uganda was raised. The following week we visited there, and talking to the truck drivers and the business people, on average it would take like 4 to 5 hours on a good day, but at times even a day before you can cross. So if you have to cross 4 borders and you have to spend 4 or 5 hours on each, then if you look at the total loss, then it makes our region very uncompetitive. So among the things we must talk is how to make it seamless for our goods to move from Zambia to Kenya, and the unnecessary stops that you have created must be abolished. On the movement of people, again, there can be no business when our people are not talking. There is no value of talking about trade when I cannot go to Zambia with ease, check the goods, agree with the banks and the people, and come back. So again, the movement of people across the entire region, I think, becomes very important. I am happy to note that Kenya has abolished visas for African countries. So if you want to visit Kenya, you do not need to make any elaborate plans for you to come here. You need a product from Mombasa, from Nakuru, and anywhere. You just need to board the next plane, and we will be able to receive you, and you can have, things going through. So I think as a person in charge of trade, I really want to emphasize on the issue of movement of people and goods, because when these two are not there, it doesn't matter what else we are going to input. And I think much must be done to open those areas. I also note that the theme of this year is leveraging on digitization to deepen regional value chains for sustainable and inclusive growth. Again here, we are happy as Kenya that we have made significant inroads in the area of digital penetration. Almost every major town in Kenya, we have been able to connect with fiber, which means a farmer can be able to produce a product, put it online, put a photo, put everything, and that way we can be able to trade. And because trade is now becoming more digital than physical, then the issue of ensuring that we have digital connection across the whole country, and by extension also in other parts of the COMESA, becomes important. And I also want to add that beyond the infrastructure are the people. And I'm happy to note that most of our universities also, we have incorporated the issue of digital skills so that our children can be able to trade and work in the world that is coming tomorrow. On the area of financial transactions, you know that Kenya is the home of M-Pesa, and M-Pesa is actually now going regional in Tanzania, Uganda, and most of these other countries. And I think this is really the area we need to work together, that we don't all need to duplicate services. So if you have a solution that's already working in Uganda or any other country, maybe that solution can be adopted. And since M-Pesa is working even globally, I see M-Pesa as a solution for many of the things that you're trying to do. And I think some of these issues, if they're replicated at the continental level, we can all work towards making it a better place for all of us. Allow me also to quickly mention on the issue of the horticultural event we had yesterday. Kenya is a major player in the area of horticulture and flower, and we had very live conversations yesterday. Still, a lot needs to be done. We have talked about post-harvest losses. We have talked about cold storage. So if you're moving a perishable commodity across the border and you're spending 5 hours, there's no cold facility, then the post-harvest becomes a major issue. And I think one of the areas that we must really invest in is the infrastructure in cold storage, both in our airports, in our ports, in all our big towns, so that when you're thinking of any of these commodities that fall within the perishable category, you have networks that can allow us to work across that entire space. Lastly, is also to note that within the COMESA region, we have nearly 600 million people. If you look at that number and you compare with other continents or subcontinents, you will realize it's bigger than even the entire US market. But the problem is we probably have not seen the full potential that lies with that kind of a market. And as we improve trade, also allow me to say that areas like tourism, if you look at what percentage of tourists within the COMESA say visit Kenya, the number is in the single digits. Yet, we will all plan our journeys, maybe on holiday sometimes, to capitals far away from where we are, in places of temperatures sometimes -10, over 40, and leave a Mombasa beach that is an attraction to the whole world. Leave a Masai Mara that is a world heritage site. So, and I can say that of Victoria Falls in Zambia, and I think all those places that we can do. So I think it's time for Africa and COMESA to think local, to think regional, and together we can move. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Thank you very much. That is Honorable Lee Kinyanjui, the CS Cabinet Secretary for Kenya's Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry. And I like where he has ended. It is time for Africa, it's time for COMESA. I would now like to invite His Excellency Dr. Hassan Kibeya, who is the chairperson for the COMESA Council of Ministers, Burundi. Welcome, and let's give him a round of applause, please.
Excellence, Professeur Kithure Kindiki, vice-président de la République du Kenya et invité d'honneur. Excellence Lee Kinyanjui, secrétaire au cabinet au ministère de l'Investissement, du Commerce et de l'Industrie du Kenya. Excellence Madame Chileshe Kapwepwe, secrétaire général du COMESA, Monsieur James Chimwaza, président du Conseil des opérateurs économiques CBC. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, distingués invités.
Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, all protocol observed. Greetings. First of all, I'd like to thank God Almighty who has helped us to meet this morning in this 18th COMESA Forum. All praise to God. And on my quality as the chair of the Council of COMESA Council of Ministers and representing the Republic of Burundi, it's my proud and with determination that I'm talking to this August gathering and to this distinguished business forum, which is involving our will to transform, our political will to transform our region into an integrated community, to a prosperous community. So this is a very important moment so that we can integrate our community with our community.
J'aimerais donc souhaiter ma plus chaleureuse des bienvenues à tous les participants, et en particulier aux distingués invités venus de toutes les régions et d'ailleurs. Et j'aimerais personnellement et au nom de la République du Burundi adresser mes sincères félicitations à la République du Kenya, qui assure actuellement la vice-présidence
is having the vice chair of our Council of Ministers. So thank you for hosting this very important forum and for being the host to this 24th summit of head of state and government. I would like particularly to thank His Excellency Professor Kithure Kindiki, the Deputy President of the Government of Republic of Kenya, and Honorable Lee Kinyajui, Cabinet Secretary. Thank you very much. I would like also to acknowledge the leadership of the Secretary General of COMESA, Her Excellency Chileshe Kapwepwe, as well as the Deputy Secretary General. I would like also to thank the Chair of COMESA Business Council, CBC, for organizing this forum. Distinguished guests, dear delegates, COMESA is positioning itself today as a great economic community with a high population of more than 600 million of people and a GDP which is over billions of dollars every year. So those are very impressive numbers to, and it's so great to come up with an integrated market, common market. So the period from 2023-2024 has pushed us to overcome many challenges within our region. Indeed, we had a decline of 3.6%, which means 14 to 15 billion of dollars in exportation. Sectoral challenges as well as non-tariff barrier are all problems to our growth. And it stopped our growth as a interregional region. So it means that we're having double challenge that we have to overcome. For that, we need to stimulate the trade flags in our region and also to have other access to other markets in the world. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, when I think about the declaration of COMESA back in 2024 and the resolution of the Head of State Summit in Bujumbura, in Burundi, I would like to highlight some very important issues. First of all, it is very crucial that we deepen the development of our private sector with a deepened collaboration between COMESA Secretariat and the CBC, the Council, the Business Council. So our objective is to come up with a regional strategy with private sector, which will be more solid and inclusive. Public sector is not just a driver, it's also an actor, so that we can implement all our program and our agendas. So we have to double our effort to facilitate trade, so that we can accelerate the protocol of free movement. So we need to adopt digital tools such as electronic visa, which is important for visa. Many member states have already adopted the electronic visa system, and we want to achieve our visa to come up with a unique visa, so that we can facilitate either tourism or business travel through our region. And I'm very happy to note that the Secretariat of COMESA with the Business Council are working closely to implement a framework for COMESA business visa. Our commitment is also to promote a resilient agriculture, which needs investments in research and to have financial access for SMEs, as well as quality standards. We need to improve our value system. So for that, we want to support tourism, mineral exploitation, so by building capacity, and also to value our resources and to improve the structure for the harmonization of regulation. So those are some of the priorities which are very important right now. And for that, we need to implement those policies and have a solid private-public collaboration. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this year, leveraging the digitalization for an inclusive business growth, is very important. So we need to use our agriculture, trade and ecosystem, because we do have a lot of potential for change. So here I'd like to thank the leadership of Kenya Republic in exploitation and digital system for agriculture and trade. So there have been progress when it comes to digital market and traceability system using blockchain. So this is a very unique example, and it is practical for our community. So I would like also to say that during the yesterday's event, so there was a good initiative of Kenyan government to strengthen collaboration when it comes to capacity building, and I would like to thank you very much for that. Distinguished guest, this forum is a platform, a very powerful platform to develop partnership, particularly how to share best practices and to promote innovating solutions. In the name of the Council of Ministers and in my own name, I want to say that we are all involved to bring an integrated community and prosperous community. For that reason, I'm asking all member states and private institutions and development partners and other stakeholders who are in this room to use the opportunity that this forum is giving us. Ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, let's unite our efforts so that the resolution from this CBC can translate in concrete action, which will help our regional transformation. I'd like to wish you fruitful deliberation and opportunity of networking. For that, I thank you very much. May God bless you.
Let's put another round of applause for Dr. Hassan Kibea, His Excellency, the Minister, or the Chairperson for COMESA, Council of Ministers from Burundi. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing here, and because I can have 360 degrees of everything, I can confirm that you're looking very good. I was watching you on TV, and I can tell you that you're looking very, very good. The only thing you need to do is to sit up, put your chest forward, right, and put your chin up so that you come out strongly on TV, but I can confirm that you look very, very good. I also informed you that we are live on Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, and so this meeting is being beamed across the world. So let's put our best foot forward. We're coming to the keynote address, which is going to be delivered by the guest of honor, His Excellency Professor Kithure Kindiki, the Deputy President of the Government of the Republic of Kenya. And I want to invite back on stage the Minister for Investment, Trade and Industry, Honorable Lee Kinyanjui, to conduct the honors of inviting our chief guests. Let's put our hands together for Waziri.
So thank you. I think my responsibility is to remind you to stand up as we welcome our Deputy President, Your Excellency, Professor Kithure Kindiki. A warm applause. Thank you and welcome, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Please be seated, and good morning. Excellencies, I am pleased to join you here today at the 18th COMESA Business Forum. Welcome to Nairobi and welcome to Kenya. This gathering is a critical confluence of minds and purpose, bringing together the architects of our continent's future. The forum provides a pivotal platform for us to confront trade issues affecting our region today and tomorrow. It brings together high-level private sector actors, associations, service providers, partners, and the public sector to discuss and adopt solutions that will propel and transform the COMESA region into a competitive economy. Today's forum, Excellencies, was preceded by the COMESA EU Horticulture Connect platform, which facilitated business-to-business meetings, farm visits, and dialogues to strengthen market linkages and foster inclusive economic growth. I thank those of you who participated in the various dialogue activities and trust that the engagements have yielded sustainable partnerships and a greater understanding of the market requirements, certification processes, and quality standards for our local, small and medium enterprises, SMEs, to remain competitive in international trade. Kenya holds a significant position in the global horticultural export trade. While significant challenges like competition from other export markets, water scarcity, high cost of air freight, disruption of supply chains resulting from perilous ocean security threats around the Red Sea, the government of Kenya is supporting this sector through value addition, development of our infrastructure, and shifting to sea freight to reduce the carbon footprint. Distinguished Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, value addition, for instance, offers the best opportunity for higher returns, incentivizes industrialization, enhances productivity, deepens technological advancement, increases high-quality jobs, bolsters wealth creation, and promotes competitiveness. We must accelerate the development of horticulture and other regional value chains critical to our future. The public and private sectors must work hand in hand to create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive, expand, and to innovate. I therefore commend the idea of the Connect platform and propose that this approach be adopted in all other value chains. Gathered here today is a rich resource of best practices from peers in the region. As the heads of strategy, I challenge you to lead innovation of tailored tech-driven solutions, and that will benefit those at the bottom of the socioeconomic pyramid in building the necessary backward and forward linkages that will facilitate transformation. You are the engine of Africa's economic transformation. You are the ones who will bridge the gaps, create the jobs, and build the future of Africa. The outcomes of this forum will be presented to the 24th COMESA Heads of State and Government Summit. Ensure that your recommendations are bold, ambitious, and practical, providing a clear roadmap for our leaders to endorse. Excellencies, tomorrow, Kenya is assuming the chairmanship of our organization, COMESA. This is not a light responsibility. Kenya will leverage this role to champion a new era of regional integration that uses digitalization to deepen value chains for sustainable and inclusive growth to actualize the theme of this forum. This theme resonates powerfully with Kenya's aspiration for radical national transformation, primarily focused on boosting intra-regional trade and economic integration within COMESA member states. The theme is a direct response to the persistent challenge of low intra-Africa trade, which is at a disappointing 17%. The summit also aligns with Kenya's own digital transformation agenda, leveraging the country's leadership in mobile money technology, digital governance, and fintech innovation. By leveraging digitalization, the summit is expected to address the issue of integrating agri-tech and digitalization into the agricultural sector. Digitalization is also a key enabler to innovation and competitiveness. Digital transformation creates a more dynamic business environment, including promoting initiatives such as the Electronic Certificate of Origin, ECO, and Smart Border Solutions to facilitate the flow of goods and services. Digitalization catalyzes reduction of non-tariff barriers to trade by introducing digital solutions to trade facilitation and modernizing customs and border procedures for seamless trade within COMESA member states. The goal, distinguished delegates, excellencies, is to move beyond the export of raw materials and create more sophisticated, higher value products that can be traded within the region and globally. This approach also seeks to create more opportunities for SMEs, businesses, especially those led by women and youth within the agricultural value chains. I am confident that by working together, we shall achieve these aspirations as a bloc and build a more integrated, resilient, and prosperous COMESA for our people. I look forward to today's deliberations and welcome what will inevitably be a most successful summit. I also look forward to fostering the implementation of the resolutions of this forum. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, excellencies, all what I have said can be summarized into three things, which three things will place Africa on the front and center of influence in the 21st century. The first is people. Trade, development, growth, progress, and wealth is about people. And going forward, the people of Africa, the people of COMESA, must include those among us who have always remained in the periphery. The youth, women, must be integrated in business and wealth creation, trade, development, and the innovations that will create wealth that will define the place of Africa in the 21st century. We must think people, and we must remain people-centric going forward, more than we've done before. The second issue is technology. Technology, especially digital technology, will define the world in the 21st century and will determine who calls the shots. And it is not true that all those who have called the shots in the past will continue calling the shots in the future. Those who will use technology well to find solutions for wealth creation, for progress and development. And I believe Africa is not sitting badly in terms of harnessing technology to define our future. We may not be generating the technology ourselves. In fact, I dare say we don't have to. We only need to harness and make use of it and create wealth for our people in the shortest time possible. Excellencies, other than the people and technology, the last driver that will turbocharge the wealth creation for Africa and for our region into the 21st century is going to be partnerships. And many speakers have eloquently spoken about the need for partnerships. The president of the bank, our bank, has already told us how partnerships have driven progress and growth for our institution and for our region within the member states. But we must look at bridging the gap between the public sector and the private sector so that we can be able to mobilize adequate resources to take Africa and COMESA forward. And I am not talking about financial resources alone. Financial resources are one, perhaps the most critical component. But then we also need intellectual resources because we need the best ideas that will define our progress going into the future. It is my pleasure to declare the 18th COMESA Business Forum officially open. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Let us all be upstanding. Your Excellency, please remain on the podium as we give His Excellency another round of applause. And my colleague is going to invite the people who are going to come upstage for that official photo op, and then we'll proceed from there. So I kindly request the following to come up on stage. This is Ms. Regina Ombam, the Principal Secretary in the State Department for Trade. Please, a round of applause for the PS. Mr. Hitesh Medirata, Vice Chairperson, Kenya Association of Manufacturers. Another round of applause. Please don't get tired. We haven't started even yet clapping here, so get ready for more. James Chimwanza, President, COMESA Business Council. Thank you. Mr. Admasu Tedese, President, Trade Development Bank. Mr. His Excellency Chileshe Mpundu Kapwepwe, Secretary General for COMESA. Honorable Lee Kenyanjui, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, Kenya. Please keep clapping. His Excellency Dr. Hassan Kibea, Chairperson, COMESA Council of Ministers for Burundi. This is the official photo, and please let the cameras click.
Thank you. And as that photo is being taken, I would like to request the persons who are in the following groups to kindly proceed to the photo platform on the right side of the building for you. And I'd like to request the ambassadors in the room, ministers, COMESA Business Council board members, heads of COMESA institutions, EU and other cooperating partners, as well as trade development, that is something else. Ambassadors, ministers, COMESA Business Council board members, heads of COMESA institutions, EU and other cooperating partners. If you are in the room, kindly proceed to that platform there. Their Excellencies will join us for another photo once they are done here.
Yes,
if you
indeed.
are in that list, kindly proceed to the right side of the room.
Thank you. Let's please put on our best smile, the cameras. Yes, then after these, the guest of honor, accompanied by the other dignitaries, he will proceed to open the exhibition, which is taking place outside here. And after the photos, all of us, we're going to the Aberdares Hall, which is downstairs, for that refreshing cup of coffee, cappuccino, or a cup of Kenyan tea. So please, you may take leave. Your
For now,
Excellencies.
I would like to request, if you're not in the...
Well, that is the opening session of day 2 of the Business Forum here at the COMESA Summit that is happening at KICC. Some of the take-homes from the keynote address there made by Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki indicate that Kenya is going to be leveraging on her position there as chairman come tomorrow to push for intra-COMESA trade. The Business Forum is a policy brain of the summit, as most who have taken to the podium have said, and it is expected to define what digital integration will look like for COMESA's next decade. Digitalization of trade is going to be focused on reducing friction. The rollout of electronic certificates of origin and single window systems will dominate this particular conversation, with examples being made there by representatives from COMESA saying that countries like Malawi as well as Zambia are noticing more efficiency when it comes to trade because of digital integration. Logistics and mobility dialogue highlights will be focusing on infrastructure readiness, talking about port efficiency, cargo tracking, and visa-free business travel within COMESA. The Kenya Association of Manufacturers Vice President, who took to the podium earlier, also mentioned that time that is usually taken to move persons as well as goods across borders is something needs to be corrected, or rather needs to be adjusted to make this more seamless and save time. Behind these sessions, there's also the geopolitical reality where Kenya has been quoted like Kenya, Egypt and Zambia are likely to be pushing for digital pilot projects and aligning with the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement frameworks. The objectives of this opening session was to and is to identify actionable steps to accelerate digital trade adoption, strengthen regulatory harmonization of investment promotion, support free movement of business people and logistic innovation. Trade digitalization, as quoting the Deputy President there, who is the chief guest in this second day, the Business Forum, says remains COMESA's biggest opportunity as well as a challenge, keenly focusing on the introduction of electronic certificates of origin that is expected to reduce trade transactions costs by at least 30%, yet only a few member states have implemented these systems fully. So digitization in this particular session, what we've heard is that it is not just about speed, it's also about trust through traceability, transparency and interoperability. Harmonization of the certificates of origin, digital payments, as well as custom systems will determine COMESA's competitiveness under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, while investment promotion that is hinged on regulatory predictability. Now, countries that streamline business registration tax system through the digital tools will also attract capital faster. An issue of capital and seeding that has also been raised by the Kenya Association of Manufacturers there. Then regional data governance frameworks have been cited, or rather are going to be need going forward to secure cross-border trade, information, and prevent duplication. Duplication at the end of source or other production is one of the challenges that the private sector has highlighted in this morning session that has been dubbed the Business Forum. This is a policy aspect of this particular COMESA summit. Now, questions that have been abound is how can digital investment platforms increase transparency and investor confidence? The agreement on priority digital trade corridors, just imagining a situation where the trade corridors between Mombasa, Lusaka, and Kinshasa was seamless, moving people as well as goods across these particular borders. Now, endorsements of interoperability roadmap has also come up with digital customs, as well as private sector commitments to scale up e-commerce and cross-border fintech solution. Kenya prides itself with having prioritized the digital super highway, one of the highlights that has been made by Cabinet Secretary in charge of trade, saying that it's a high time that we leveraged on matters digital to push trade there. The theme, connecting the region through smart mobility and borderless business, efficient logistics and movement of business people, remains a critical bottleneck to regional integration. Some of the quotes there, including the COMESA Business Council President there, James Shitambwa, who said that that is one of the issues that they want prioritized. Right outside, we want to take you back to Broadcasting House, but when we come back, we're going to be focusing on several sessions that are going to be underway on day 2. One focusing on smart agriculture and agri-tech, as well as logistics and digital movement and innovation. We take you to Broadcasting House. We're keeping tabs on the summit on day 2, on the day 2 being the business forum that has been termed as the brain and policy of this particular summit. I'm Regina Manyara. Now back to you, Broadcasting House.